Hello everyone, this is Luxury PL 38. Today's video I would like to showcase why Chanel could still be the cheapest and still be the best value brand that you can find on the market at the moment, especially after the huge price increase a couple of months ago. A lot of people actually recommend that Chanel will be untouchable and they're just too pricey to purchase, but you can still find a good Chanel bags, and it is basically cheaper than other luxury brands, but we have to venture out of the permanent collections because the price increase a couple of months ago was actually on their permanent collections. But if you look outside the permanent collections, you might still be able to find a very good Chanel bags at a very affordable and the best deal on the market at the moment. So the first category I would like to talk about is tote. And for the tote itself, Chanel might actually want this category because it is still the cheapest of the three totes, and we are talking about the Dior and the On The Go from Louis Vuitton. So in terms of the tote category, we all know that Dior has a book tote which is extremely popular, and the Louis Vuitton has the On The Go, which is still very popular, and the Chanel has the default tote. I actually decided to compare the Chanel default tote in fabric because in my opinion Dior tote is also in fabric and the On The Go is in quarter canvas. So I would like to use the fabric Chanel tote instead of the leather default tote for comparison purposes. In terms of the Dior book tote and the Louis Vuitton On The Go, they are both fairly new style. The On The Go was released a year ago. The Dior book tote was released 2 years ago, and the Chanel default tote was actually released longer or even a few years back before any of those. However, it is still cheaper than those two, even though it has been released a few years back. And I actually purchased my Chanel default tote for 3,025 Canadian dollars, and the Dior book tote, the small one, because they are comparable in terms of size wise. If you look at it, they are very similar in terms of size. In fact, I think they're pretty much same size, and I'm using the small book tote. I actually purchased this for 3,600, but this is not the monogram. I believe the monogram one is a couple of $100 cheaper, but it is still more expensive than the Chanel default tote, which I purchased for $3,025. So Chanel is actually cheaper than the Dior book tote, and the On The Go, the smaller one, which is the size, it is currently retail for 3,150 Canadian dollars. It is still more expensive than the Chanel default tote in fabric. The only point that I would like to point out is the handle, because the Chanel default tote, there's only a pair of handle. There are two kinds of default tote. That they do have the two-handle one, which is the same as the On The Go. They have two different sets of handle, the longer one and the shorter handles. And the default tote has that as well. However, if you choose for the two pairs of handle, you have to pay $700 more. Whereas if you only choose the one pair of handles, which is the one that I've purchase, it's actually come out to only 3,025 Canadian dollars, which makes Chanel default tote cheaper than the On The Go and cheaper than the Dior book tote. So in this category, Chanel has got the cheapest and I would say the best deal on the market at the moment. The only downside is it is also the hardest of all these three for you to able to find it inside Chanel boutique, because they don't make the default tote as much as I will imagine On The Go from Louis Vuitton also the Dior book tote from Dior. For some reason, it's difficult for you to find the the Chanel to fall tote on the Chanel boutique for this kind of price. And if you try harder, if you speak to your SA, you might be able to secure one, but it is so far the cheapest among the three, and I will say it is the best deal because it does have that chain strap, the traditional chain strap, and it is also, in my honest opinion, the best looking one. The Dior book tote comes a very close second, but you can't go wrong with the Chanel double CC. So the next category I'm going to talk about is the small mini bag. The second category I would like to talk about is the mini bag, and we do have the Louis Vuitton Vanity PM, the Chanel Vanity Mini, and the Dior box 30 Montagne. Three of them are very similar in terms of the size and also the shape. I did actually make a video about the Chanel Vanity Mini, how it was recently price increase, but due to certain confirmations from a third party, I decided to take that video down because apparently there was not a price increase as dramatic or as drastic as what I heard from my original source. There is a slight increase, but it is very, very minimal. And out of those three, the most expensive one is the Dior book tote, the Dior 30 Montagne. It is priced at closer to 4,000 Canadian dollars. It is around 3,600 if I'm not mistaken, because they did an price adjustment from Dior, so I'm not sure what the new price is, but this is actually in canvas. It is not in the leather, and it is still priced more expensive than those two. It is priced at close to 4,000. I believe it's because also of the strap. It does come with a very nice strap, but I'm not sure if the strap can justify the price of that. But this is actually priced at over 3,000, between 3,500 to 4,000 Canadian dollars. And the second most expensive is the Vanity PM, which is currently priced at 3,150 Canadian dollars. So the cheapest one is surprisingly again from Chanel, and it is the Vanity Mini, priced at 1,975 Canadian dollars. So it is priced at under 2,000 Canadian dollars, basically nearly half the price of that. And this is also the only one that is made of leather, whereas this is in caviar leather, whereas this one is in coated canvas, and this is in fabric, in the monogram oblique. So as you can see, in terms of the mini bag, the Chanel actually won in terms of the price, and in terms of the quality, it is debatable. However, it is made of leather, caviar leather, so you know for a fact that it is durable. So in the category of mini bag, Chanel actually won in terms of the price, the best value, and the lowest, the cheapest of the three bags. However, it is also the hardest to get, simply because a lot of people are actually put their names down on the waiting list, and it is virtually impossible to have a look at it, more so to purchase it from Chanel boutique. The final category I would like to talk about is small leather goods, or SLG, and you'll be surprised that in terms of small leather goods, you might be able to find a very good deal from Chanel, and some of these small leather goods style are actually turns out to be cheaper than, let's say, Louis Vuitton or Dior. So let's get into the category itself. The starting point for the Chanel SLG starts from 425 Canadian dollars, which is the very simple card holder, as compared to the Louis Vuitton card holder. The starting point is 260, I believe. That actually scares a lot of people away from getting a Chanel SLG because of that starting point. However, if you actually look past the starting point and if you actually upgrade to, let's say, a bigger card holder, a zipper coin purse, or even a mini pouch, the price increment from Chanel, it actually increases at a very, very minimal amount. Says from 400 to just 500 to 600. So there is a very slight increment increase if you are after the larger or the more compact. Whereas the Louis Vuitton, even though it starts from 250, but the price increase for different style, let's say the coin purse or the Rosalie coin, the zippy coin, it increases by quite a substantial $200-300, and that makes it cheaper for some of the Chanel items. A very good example is this Rosalie coin purse, which is 485 Canadian dollars. And if you're looking at the Chanel one, very similar. This one is, I believe I purchased this for just around 550 or 560. So as you can see, the price difference is not that large. Bear in mind, this is made of caviar leather, and it is also more durable in terms of the leather structured. To be honest, I prefer the fact that it is a Chanel SLG. It just feels a little bit more luxurious as compared to the Louis Vuitton. I do understand that the Louis Vuitton one is probably gonna last longer because it is made of coated canvas. It is known to last for years and years. But in terms of value wise, you're purchasing a leather products from Chanel and at a very similar price point. Another example is the zippy coin. It actually starts at 565 Canadian dollars for a zippy coin monogram coated canvas, whereas the Chanel one starts at 600, and I believe this is 650 if I'm not mistaken. So there is only a slight difference in terms of the price. But if you include those seasonal patterns such as this Vivian patterns, the price increase, it is quite substantial. That makes it more expensive than the Chanel one, because we all know that Louis Vuitton seasonal patterns always have a higher price tag, and it is always quite substantially larger than the regular ones. For a Chanel SLG, the incremental price increase isn't very large. So don't be afraid to explore Chanel SLG. Even the classic compact wallet, it is priced, I purchased this at 825 Canadian dollars. It is probably increased by now because I purchased this a year ago. It is probably closer to 900 Canadian dollars. But the Zoe wallet, if you're purchasing it in leather, it is already close to 700 Canadian dollars, and it is substantially smaller than the compact Chanel wallet. So the price difference is not that large. If you're after the bigger ones, it is very similar in terms of the price wise to a Chanel compact wallet. And there is a Continental wallet, which is extremely expensive. We all know from Louis Vuitton. The Continental wallet, if it's made of leather, it is probably priced in the 1,500 Canadian dollars, and that price tag is equivalent to the Chanel Continental Classic wallet. So in terms of price wise, Louis Vuitton and Chanel are very, very close. The reasons why I did not put much into the Dior, because even though I only have 2 SLG from Dior, but the Dior price range, it's very close to a Chanel. So don't be afraid to venture into the Chanel SLG just because the starting point of Chanel SLG is over $400 does not mean that the rest of the SLG from Chanel is going to be expensive. You'll be surprised that some of the SLG from Chanel are actually turned out to be cheaper than Louis Vuitton. Even the Prada Continental wallet that I purchased, this was actually retail for 1,000 Canadian dollars, and I was actually surprised to find that it is very close to a Chanel one or even the Louis Vuitton one. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and if you do have any questions or comments, please do so in the sections below.